roll in the hay. It's fun. Roll, roll in the hay.
In the 1974 classic Young Frankenstein, legendary comedy writer and director Mel Brooks kept the gags coming. All these years later, he's still at it. He talks with our man in Hollywood, Ben Mankiewicz.
Can I want to clear something up?
Mm-hmm.
I don't get paid for this, do I? No, just curious. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm used to getting paid.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
For the record, Mel Brooks did not get paid, but he still delivered the comedy, just as he's been doing for nearly a full century, pretty much since day one.
I knew from a very early age, I knew that comedy was my business. Comedy was my thing. It was me. Because people would look down at my crib. I was only a few months old, and they would laugh. And I said, that's it. That's it. That's what I want.
When did you know that you were funny, that you could make people laugh?
In school, I guess. You know, my neck still hurts from being taken by the neck to the principal's office because I was terrible. Every time I would do my impression of Boris Karloff, the monster, James Whale's fabulous monster, saying this word as a server at a dinner table. He'd say, antipasto. You know, I do the eyes too, I help it, you know. And just antipasto, and that was it. And it was so great, the rest of the class would laugh. They didn't know why they were laughing.
We've all been laughing ever since. As a writer and director, Mel has created some of the sharpest and most irreverent comedies of all time.
Throw out your hands, stick out your tush.
Blazing Saddles.
If you're blue and you
later the same year, Young Frankenstein.
why don't you go where fashion sits?
Plus History of the World Part 1.
The Lord Jehovah has given unto you these 15. Wait. 10 commandments.
And, of course, The Producers, which earned Mel an Oscar for Best Screenplay.
Don't be stupid, be a smarty. Come and join the Nazi party.
The story of a Broadway musical about Adolf Hitler.
Will the dancing Hitlers please wait in the wings? We are only seeing singing Hitlers.
You know, Hitler's made me a very good living, you know. I'm one of the few Jews that has survived Hitler well, you know.
Only Mel Brooks could get away with having this bottle stopper in his home.
Someone sent it to me. I get a lot of Hitler paraphernalia, a lot of Hitler stuff, you know.
Born Melvin Kaminsky in Brooklyn in 1926, Mel is now 93 and as sharp as ever.
You're smarter than you look, but, you know.
Thank you.
And keenly observant.
You could have been a star, but you wear glasses.
So where are we going here, Mel? Going downstairs?
You were going, I want to show you something down.
Comedy is Mel Brooks's life, but his love,
And that's Anne, miracle worker.
will always be her. Anne Bancroft. To the world, she was one of the great stage and screen actors of her generation, with astounding range.
W-A-T-E-R, water. It has a name.
From The Miracle Worker, which earned her an Oscar as Helen Keller's teacher, Annie Sullivan,
Sit down, Benjamin.
to The Graduate, playing Dustin Hoffman's married seductress, Mrs. Robinson.
Mrs. Robinson, you're trying to seduce me.
But to Mel, she was his soulmate.
She's always pushed me. She's always been an inspiration. She always thought I was talented. She believed in me right from the beginning as a songwriter as well as a screenplay writer or whatever I wanted to do. She said, you can do it.
On the surface, they presented as a Hollywood odd couple. But the truth is, there was so much in common. Both grew up the children of immigrants, a Jewish boy from Brooklyn, and an Italian girl from the Bronx.
She was Anne Marno for a while. She kept the Italian thing. She was Anna Marie Louise Italiano. Italiano's her real name, man. I think it was Darryl Zanuck gave her a list of people, and she said, I like Bancroft.
And Brooks really liked Bancroft, long before the day they met.
Let's go back to 1961. How'd you meet her?
1961, February 5th.
At a taping of a Perry Como TV special, Anne was rehearsing. Mel, 4 years removed from his long run as a comedy writer for Sid Caesar's TV shows, walked over with a friend to watch.
And she's wearing a white gown, and she has jet black, shiny hair, and the most beautiful eyes and the most beautiful figure. And it was just like, I said, Kismet, luck, what? Anyway, I'm in love. I know I'm just struck by her. I'm struck and I'm in love. She finishes the song. It's a rehearsal, so you can talk. And I scream out, Anne Bancroft, I love you. She said, who are you? I said, I'm Mel Brooks. She said, I got your record. You know, I did a record with Carl Ryan, a 2,000-year-old man. Said, what are you doing? She said, I have to see somebody at the William Morris Agency. I said, Bernie said, I got to see him too. I went with her. I got a cab. I went, she liked my whistle. Yeah, it's a good whistle.
Then, completely smitten, Mel began to pursue her, rather relentlessly.
Every night, wherever she went, I would show up, you know, by the fourth or fifth time, I'd say, it's Kismet. We just seem to be going, you know, she said, you know, both. It's not Kismet.
She told her analysts, let's speed this process up. I've met the right man.
Yeah.
Like she knew too.
It was just nobody else. She had everything. She had looks, she had brains, she had purpose.
Mel and Anne married in 1964.
Yeah, there's Max.
Their son, Max, a successful writer himself, he wrote World War Z, grew up in this house.
What do you recall of what your parents were like together?
My answer to that is I need some sort of context. I need to compare it to something else. And it was only later when I got out into the world I realized that most people are not as animated and most people are not as funny.
Right here you see To Be or Not to Be, New York Times. It must have been a good review or it wouldn't be here.
In 1983, they starred together in To Be or Not to Be, which opens with an idea Anne had to sing a duet in another language.
Jak się topić, to się topić, sweet Georgie Brown.
You know, she learned that song in Polish. Jak się topić, to się topić, sweet Georgie Brown. She learned it, she taught it to me, she drilled it. She drilled me every day until I could actually do it in Polish with her.
Oh, I didn't even notice you got her in parentheses up there.
Yeah,
in the poster.
I still have her in parentheses. But she began to like it.
Anne was with him during Blazing Saddles, Mel's bold comedy about a black sheriff in a racist Western town.
You think Blazing Saddles would succeed today? Could it get made today?
I don't know. I don't think so, because I went too far with the use of the N-word, with cowboys sitting around a camp farting. But, I mean, the movie's outrageous. And a lot of people, you can't blame them for saying, never should be made, terrible. But that's what I do. I make the things that nobody else would make.
What does that tell you about the state of comedy today?
Well, for me, they're a little too strict about, what's in bad taste and what's in good taste. And I think MF, the MF word, it's purposeful. It has grit. It has truth and grit. And you can't shower people with truth and grit if you're going to be careful about stepping out of the lines. You got to step outside the lines. And I think that the political correctness is too, I'm sorry to say it, is too politically correct. She made some very good pictures with some very good directors. This one is Mezza Mezza.
Mel continues to write and perform.
But he's always thinking back to his wife.
Here she is, making some money doing actually a beer commercial. It was not a good beer.
They were inseparable for 41 years until Anne died of cancer in 2005. She was 73.
I think my dad is at a time in his life when he's looking back on all he has achieved. And it's no small truth that much of his achievements are because of my mother. My father's the first one to tell you that she saved him.
Can you see it?
14 years after her death, Mel wants Anne's legacy celebrated, and he wants it seen.
I just thought, before I die, I'd like to see a couple of her movies put together in a box set. There's a lot of great stuff here. If you get it in advance, you can get it for $59. When it hits the streets in a couple of months, it's $80. You want to save a couple of bucks and see the greatest performance from the greatest actress ever? $59, Amazon.
A pitch for 8 Anne Bancroft movies from the funny man who knew her best.
She could be the leading lady or an aide de camp. She could help people quietly on their side, pushing them. She could just be on stage with the spotlight and star in something. She was a great gift. She was a gift from God.
We have things to talk about.
Like what?
As the fearless aide to Steve Jobs,
We're not going to sell 1 million in the first 90 days.
Joanna Hoffman was a lot of things. A high-powered executive, a marketing genius.
What happens when they find out that for $24.95 there's nothing you can do with it?
I don't care if she put a
And, as played by Kate Winslet,
You're going to fix it now.
the moral center of the movie Steve Jobs.
But what you make isn't supposed to be the best part of you. When you're a father, that's what's supposed to be the best part of you. And it's
However, one thing the real-life Joanna Hoffman, a no-nonsense Polish-Armenian immigrant, would not be confused for is a glamorous movie star.
Why would they think of me? Because Joanna Hoffman looks nothing like me.
When Kate Winslet heard about this role, she just had to have it.
You wanted this badly.
Mm-hmm. That's allowed. Isn't that allowed?
So she took a selfie, this one, and sent it to the film's producer.
Joanna didn't really wear any makeup and put on this short dark head wig and a pair of glasses, and I took one photo and I just sent it by email to Scott Rudin.
Any message?
No, no message.
After 6 Academy Award nominations,
He did! He loved me as I loved him!
And the inertia of my life.
an iconic star turn in Titanic.
And all the while I feel I'm standing in the middle of a crowded room, screaming at the top of my lungs, and no one even looks up.
We were guards. Our job was to guard the prisoners.
And an Oscar win for The Reader.
Well then. We couldn't just let them escape. We couldn't. We were responsible for them.
Kate Winslet could expect to get any part she wants. But getting Joanna Hoffman was one thing. Playing her, quite another.
How hard was that accent?
Oh, that accent. There are lots of accents I really can't do. I do a useless Scottish. My Irish is all over the map.
But
And
Polish-Armenian, you got nailed?
Polish-Armenian, you know, give a girl a challenge.
Fix it. Fix it now. Or you can contact me at my new job, working anywhere I want.
I mean, I was baffled by it. And I remember I called the real Joanna, and to hear her actually speak, it is different to the way that I ended up doing it in the film, for the simple reason that her pitch is much higher than mine. So I remember speaking to her for the first time, and I said, "Hello, Joanna, this is Kate Winslet." "Hello, how are you? I'm so happy to hear from you. Wow, this is just so exciting." I thought, oh my God, I can't do that. I can't sustain that for 2 hours of a movie, you know.
Winslet's been relying on her acting instincts for 25 years, starting on TV in a British show called Dark Season.
It is weird.
She was a chunky 15-year-old, and even being on TV did not insulate her from the slings and arrows of schoolyard bullies.
But then, as someone once said, never listen to what people tell you, only what you tell yourself.
I was teased for how I looked.
That's what the bullying was?
Yeah, because I was quite stocky as a child, and was very much teased for that.
Now 40, and one of her generation's brightest stars, the pain is still fuel.
I know that those nasty bullies are still out there, and there I am with a big gold statue in my hand. I mean, that's a pretty great fist-pumping moment. That's a lovely message to say to those bullies, you know, and where are they? Where are they?
It's not just a fist-pumping moment, it's a little bit of a middle finger moment.
Well, let's not get aggressive.
It's about a presence, a radiance that
But even when you're the face of Lancome Cosmetics, there's not enough makeup to cover the scars of teenage teasing. She speaks loudly and clearly about body image, often insisting that her image not be retouched.
I am in an industry where I have to do interviews, much like this one. You know, we walk down red carpets, you know, it's part of the job. But I think I feel very strongly that it's important to also say to young girls, look, we don't look like that all the time.
By the way, you sat down with us. You can hold that up there for
the coffee?
No.
Oh, this? Okay, right, so I sat down with you because today I did my own hair and makeup, because it's easier, frankly, sometimes. And I came into this room and I said, okay, I am the hair and makeup team, so someone tell me if I'm shiny.
Blunt as she is about gender and beauty, Winslet seemed to struggle a few months ago after Jennifer Lawrence shined a spotlight on the issue of pay equity for actors and actresses. Winslet was asked about it by the BBC.
I don't like talking about money. It's a bit vulgar, isn't it? I don't think that's a very nice conversation to have publicly.
That reaction caused a bit of a stir.
So this notion of, I don't want to discuss any gap in pay, gender gaps, it's vulgar.
Yeah, let me explain. So, what I think is vulgar is to be talking publicly about actual earning of money. That is, I mean, even as I'm saying it now, I'm slightly being sick into my mouth. I'm British. We don't do that. Jennifer put it brilliantly. She did it so gracefully and graciously. But what I object to is, unfortunately, the line of questioning that it almost gives journalists permission to open with, which I don't like. I fully had a journalist say to me, so do you know if you got paid more or less than Michael Fassbender? I don't ever want to be asked that question, and I certainly wouldn't answer it. That's what's difficult. Would it make you feel better if I told you that if I am ever in a situation where I feel that there is something unfair happening, that I always stand up for myself? Would that make you feel better?
Not about what makes me feel better. I'm just wondering if you think...
I just want to try and answer your question in as delicate a way as I can.
I'm just wondering if in theory, is it wrong if there is a gap?
It's very difficult to answer that question because every situation is completely different. But if you have a man and a woman in a movie of equal experience, of equal sized role, who are saying the same number of lines, is it wrong that the guy gets paid more than the girl? You bet your bottom dollar it's wrong. I mean, do you think a school teacher, a female school teacher, wants to sit at home and listen to a Hollywood, you know, a bunch of Hollywood actresses talking about how they don't get basically paid enough?
Winslet's pay grade allows her to live quite comfortably with her third husband and 3 kids in a small town on the English coast.
But chickens are great, and they give you eggs.
Hollywood A-lister, perhaps,
This one in here.
but one who finds one of life's great pleasures in a country henhouse.
You're in luck. Look, this means that the little bantams, the little black ones, have started laying. This is really great, actually. I must tell you, this is exciting. Well done, everybody.
For Winslet, happiness is running to the store with no worries about dodging paparazzi.
You have to have a home and somewhere to, you know, run and hide. And also, we're very fortunate. It's a lovely community where we live, and so yeah, we're just part of the community.
You can run and get a quart of milk and not have to worry about anything other than getting the milk.
Not a problem. I even do the school run in my dressing gown, bathrobe, pajamas. Yeah, absolutely.
At this point, it seems Kate Winslet doesn't want to live a second more of her life than she has to, worried about appearances. Unless, of course, she's changing them herself to snag a role that just might put her in the running for her next Oscar.
When you watch Dennis Hopper in the desert of New Mexico doing take after take of a scene for his new series, you have to wonder, is it still fun for you?
Oh, absolutely. I love it.
You want to go back to that plantation juke joint? You go right ahead.
At 72, he is definitely relishing the role of Ben Senders, the hard-living music producer in the new Starz TV series Crash, based on the Academy Award-winning movie.
Have you ever cocked a gun, Anthony? What? Well, I'm scared of a black man with a gun.
It's an over-the-top role for a man whose over-the-top life has been the stuff of Hollywood legend for half a century.
I've been sober for 24 years. I haven't had any hard narcotics or alcohol in 24 years, but I had my moment that I was completely out of control.
Indeed, Easy Rider, the groundbreaking 1969 film that he co-starred in, co-wrote, and directed, was in large part Hopper's personal reflection on the drug-fueled counterculture movement he was part of in the 1960s.
Wow, between, you can't hit me, I'm invisible.
Did you have any realization that this film was going to be something that most people say changed film history.
Well, I wanted it to be that. I always thought of it as a time capsule that was going to show what it was like during the period of time that it was made. Easy Rider's my baby. I love it.
Hopper is so identified with Easy Rider
Don't just stand there, kill something!
that it's easy to forget he's been in more than 100 movies and scores of television shows.
Your family will be joining you soon.
Dennis Hopper grew up far from Hollywood in Dodge City, Kansas. His dad, a U.S. intelligence officer who later managed a post office. His mom, a state champion swimmer. But it was his grandmother who took him to the movies.
I'd see the old cowboy movies like Hopalong Cassidy and the Singing Cowboys, Roy Rogers and Gene Autry. And I just wanted to know how I got out of Dodge City. How do you get out of Dodge?
He did get out when he was 13. His family moved to San Diego, where Dennis started acting at the Old Globe Theater.
You mean she's dead? Aunt Flora's dead.
By 17, he snagged his first Hollywood job as a boy with epilepsy in an episode of the TV show Medic.
After it aired, 7 studios called me and wanted to put me under contract.
He took a job with Warner Brothers and landed a small role in the James Dean Natalie Wood classic Rebel Without a Cause.
What was it like working on that amazing film?
Well, it was great, you know. It was incredible. I was having an affair with Natalie. And,
you were?
Yeah.
You were, wait, you were having an affair with Natalie Wood?
Yeah.
That must have been fun.
That was good, yeah. And I was 18 years old, you know, it was wonderful. And let's see, yeah, watching James Dean work was just a miracle. I'd never seen anybody improvise. I'd never, you know, in Shakespeare, you don't go jumping off the page and saying other people's words.
What were you like as a young actor?
Very ambitious.
And very stubborn. While making the 1958 film From Hell to Texas, Hopper refused to follow instructions from director Henry Hathaway during one scene.
How many takes did you do you know?
Well, I worked from 7 in the morning till 11 at night. At night, finally, I started crying, and I said, okay, Henry, just tell me what you want. He said, I want you to pick the cup up this way. Line read the same thing. I did it, walked out of the studio, and that was it.
In fact, it seemed to be the end of his film career.
Nobody would hire you.
No, well, after that story, you don't have to even pass a ball around. Everybody in Hollywood knew that Hopper had flipped out.
He concentrated on television and theater, and another lifelong passion, art. His Los Angeles home is filled with work he's made over the years.
I took that photograph and made it into an oil painting.
Throughout the 60s, Hopper photographed his friends in Hollywood and in the art world.
Well, I bought Andy Warhol's first soup can painting for $75. And I bought a Roy Lichtenstein, The Sinking Sun, for $1,100 out of Roy's studio. That sold last year for $17,870,000.
Were you the seller?
No, unfortunately. My ex-wife got in a divorce.
Hopper has 4 ex-wives, including the actress and model Brooke Hayward and Michelle Phillips of the Mamas and the Papas.
That was a short one.
That was for 8 days.
8 days.
We lived together for a year and a half and were married for 8 days.
Those were wild times for Hopper. He finally got back to film in the mid-60s with Sons of Katie Elder, hired by the same director who had banished him. This time, Hopper followed every instruction.
He gives me every line reading, every turn, everything to do, you know, and so on. And I do it. And he comes up to me, he's got a cigar in his mouth. I said, that was beautiful, kid, that was beautiful. Tears are coming down. And I said, that was just great, kid, that was great. You're so good. I said, you see, Henry, I told you I'm a much better actor now than I was 8 years ago. And he says, you're not a better actor, kid. You're not better. You're just smarter. You're smarter.
His career flourished.
The man is clear in his mind, but his soul is mad.
But even when he was doing his best work, drugs and alcohol were taking over his life.
My last 5 years of drinking, I was drinking a half a gallon of rum with a fifth of rum on the side every day, with 28 beers and 3 grams of cocaine just to maintain.
There's a story that you ended up sort of raving out in a jungle in Mexico when you were making a film.
Yeah, that's true.
You've been in this house how long? Or these houses, the first one started when? What year?
Well, let's see, I guess 24 years ago, 25.
That's when he decided to turn his life around. He bought his LA home after a difficult detox.
What does my drinking got to do with my knowledge about basketball?
He revived his career, even earning an Oscar nomination, playing an alcoholic basketball coach in Hoosiers. And he got his personal life back on track, too. He's been married to Victoria Duffy since 1996.
I thought he was cute, thought he was smart and funny and interesting, and the rest went from there.
They have one daughter, Galen, and he stays close to his children from previous marriages. And this is definitely a Dennis Hopper moment. His new series, a slew of new films, and an exhibit at the Cinematheque in Paris, paying homage to him as an artist and collector, as well as an actor. Hopper even received the Legion of Honor, France's highest award from the Minister of Culture.
The one thing I promised myself was I wasn't going to cry. Yeah, but maybe that's not possible.
Are you surprised these days to find yourself such an upstanding soul?
Upstanding soul, I'm not surprised about. That I'm still standing, I'm surprised about.
And Dennis Hopper, maybe more than anyone else, can appreciate what a long, strange trip it has been.
Eclipses both the sun and moon. Do you understand? You know too soon. There is no sense in trying.
The American naval officers are actors from the People's Art Theater in the last scene of the play The Kane Mutiny Court-Martial. And as with theater folk around the world, the cast celebrates after the opening and presents the director, Charlton Heston, with a gift.
To be able to cross the Pacific with an American play and have the facilities of a theater like this and a company of actors like the company of the People's Art Theater. I'd go around the world twice for that. Ni hao. We're going to work on the second act this morning. And then run through.
Charlton Heston directed and starred in more than 200 performances of the Kane Mutiny Court-Martial in London and the United States.
You say, no, I didn't. No. With a lot of...
In rehearsal, every direction, every explanation had to be expressed through an interpreter. Heston, who donated his services, spent 6 weeks working daily with the actors, who speak only Chinese.
I am, after all, primarily an actor, so I can step into a scene and play one part or another.
I had the chance to set the record straight on anything derogatory to me in the testimony that's gone before. I did not make one single mistake in 15 months aboard the Kane, and I can prove that. I will not have my record smirched by a whole lot of lies and distortions from disloyal officers. No.
What is extraordinary is the language seems to fade away, and you're looking at the other man and talking to him, communicating the idea of the scene.
Among the officers.
In the play, Lieutenant Marek is on trial for seizing control of the destroyer Kane from his commanding officer, Captain Queeg. Marek is exonerated when Queeg reveals himself to be mentally unstable, compulsively playing with 2 steel ball bearings when he's under stress. At first, Chinese officials were not at all sure they wanted to permit a play about a mutiny.
In the end, the Cane Mutiny was accepted. It was assigned to this prestigious People's Art Theater because the play also deals with novel ideas the Chinese government wants to start introducing to the public. For instance, Communist China is just beginning to work out a new legal system. On public bulletin boards, a red check mark means that the person described has been executed, sometimes after a screaming, chanting hate rally. Due process, as we understand it, is not known here.
In the old times, of course, the magistrate is also the judge. And you get into the court, you get beaten up first, as a measure to induce honesty. Yeah. And then
Actor Ing Raw Chung, who is also China's Vice Minister of Culture, translated the Cane Mutiny.
We're setting up a new legal system. The old Chinese legal system wasn't quite the same. And people are curious, interested, and they want to know more about it. Ideas like you are innocent until proven guilty, things like that.
Hearsay testimony has no validity. You can never say, well, somebody told me, as Keith does. You can't say that.
They've heard about legal systems in other countries, but they have never seen them. They don't know how it works.
Chinese-American novelist Betty Bao Lord is co-producer of the Cane Mutiny. She is the wife of the U.S. Ambassador, Winston Lord.
This means China's interested in looking at legal systems from another country, as well as the whole area of psychiatry, which is new to them. Long ago, they wouldn't admit anything such as mental illness. And now they realize that there are aspects of modern social problems, and they would like to take a look at them, see how it works, and borrow or incorporate what they can use.
What Bird, the psychiatrist Bird, says in the first act, the balls comfort him.
Maybe in the United States, you tend to put too much emphasis on this subject, but we're the other extreme. Unless you're raving mad, no one recognizes that it's a mental illness.
All of you were very good last night in the run-through, and I know you're going to be fine tonight. What I'm writing here is good luck.
The show has been a rousing success, playing to packed houses and doing what good theater must always do, provoking the audience. One night after a performance, theatergoer Chang Shui-Tsai put it this way.
You have to think while you listen. You don't just listen, but you have to think and you have to judge. And that's the nice thing about it.
The play will be added to the regular repertoire of the Beijing Art Theater, a long-lasting piece of American culture in China.
The importance of this production now is not because it's a first, but the importance lies in the fact that it is not a first, that it is going on.
If you've ever wondered what it was like to first strike oil, watch this. And if you've ever wondered what greed can do to a man's soul, take a look at this.
There's a whole ocean of oil under our feet. No one can get at it except for me.
We have oil here. That's worth something.
The quest for oil and the pioneers who first discovered how to tap the land more than 100 years ago serve as the backdrop for There Will Be Blood, the new film starring Daniel Day-Lewis.
No matter what the others promise to do, when it comes to the showdown, they won't be there.
So when you picked it up and read it, what was the first thing that grabbed you?
The title.
There Will Be Blood?
Yeah, that has to do something.
Despite the horror movie title, the film is drenched in oil, not blood, and greed more than violence drives the action.
What's this? Why don't I own this? Why don't I own this?
Day-Lewis plays Daniel Plainview, a dynamic, pathological force of nature who needs to win at any cost.
I have a competition in me. I want no one else to succeed.
You know, what does a man who's become an animal do with himself when he emerges out of his burrow?
When you say that, a man who's become an animal, I mean, I just feel like that's coming from within you.
Yeah, yeah. There's something appealing about that, for sure.
It's another Oscar-caliber performance by an actor whose ability to transform himself into a character is legendary.
You have a great chance here.
What appeals to him, he says, is authenticity, getting every word, every gesture just right.
1 in 20 will be oil men. The rest will be speculators. That's men trying to get between you and the oil men to get some of the money that ought by rights come to you.
Watching you in the film, even when you're not talking, it's down to the dirt in your fingernails. It's in your face, it's in your movements, it's in, you know, you feel like you've lost yourself in the character.
That's the ideal. That's the task, I suppose, that we set ourselves. That's the narcotic almost as well. Certainly that illusion is a very intoxicating one, I think.
When do we get our money, Daniel?
Just don't ask how he achieves that illusion. What's going through your mind in some of those scenes that when you kill a man?
Secret.
Do you like to kill a man on camera?
On camera?
Do you enjoy those scenes?
Yeah.
Why?
It's part of my job.
That's not a good answer.
Try
again.
I don't think I have a good answer for it.
The truth is, Day-Lewis has a good answer for just about everything. He just isn't comfortable focusing on himself or analyzing his art.
There's not really anything to say about it. You do it as well as you can. The proof is in the pudding. And I always feel when I talk about it too that it's falsifying the reality of that work, which finally, luckily for all of us, remains a total mystery.
What's not a mystery is that he became an artist in the first place. Day-Lewis grew up in an artistic family, born in London in 1957. His father, Cecil Day-Lewis, was a poet laureate of England and a popular novelist. His mother, Jill Belkin, is a well-known British actress. But he had doubts about pursuing acting as a profession and felt he should do something more practical, at one point even studying to be a cabinet maker.
I was conflicted about this work for many years because I wasn't sure if there was real value in it. I was never unaware of the absurdity. And maybe I have to take it that seriously to obliterate the sense of absurdity.
That at least partly explains his reputation for exhaustively preparing for often difficult roles. Learning how to handle a musket and tomahawk for Last of the Mohicans. Training for months as a fighter for The Boxer.
Know a lot butchering meat.
Working at a butcher shop and learning to throw knives for his role as Bill the Butcher in Gangs of New York.
Whoopsie daisy!
He said hope deferred make a heart sick.
But it was his performance as cerebral palsy sufferer Christy Brown in 1989's My Left Foot that first earned him recognition as one of the greatest actors of his generation.
I want to go home. Are you sure? No.
He won that year's Oscar for Best Actor, but true to form, if you ask him about it, he was happy for everyone else.
So you're folding your arms now.
Yeah, I know. I know.
You hate talking about it.
I know. I can't really remember much about it. I wished so much for people that wished for me that they wouldn't be disappointed. Because there were a lot of people in Ireland that it really, really meant a lot to, because they felt it was their story. It was their story.
I say God is dead!
While filming The Crucible in 1995, Day-Lewis met Rebecca Miller, daughter of Arthur Miller, the play's author. They married the following year and now live in Ireland with their 2 young boys. Family is one of the reasons that despite the Oscar and countless other awards, Daniel Day-Lewis accepts very few roles.
Somebody like you could be doing movies all the time, but you've only done 4 films in the last 10 years.
So people keep reminding me.
Well, what does that say about you?
Well, there's great joy in this work for me, but I couldn't find the joy in the work if I worked to somebody else's rhythm, and I just have a very slothful rhythm.
That rhythm was interrupted 2 years ago when director Paul Thomas Anderson sent him the script for There Will Be Blood.
Why did you choose Daniel Day-Lewis?
Well, that's like saying, why were you after the Holy Grail? It's not a question of me choosing Daniel Day-Lewis, is it? It's more like Daniel chose to do the film. You can only fantasize about the possibility of working with him. He's so slippery, he's so elusive, isn't he?
Anderson, the Oscar-nominated director of Magnolia and Boogie Nights, quickly learned just how tough and dedicated an actor Daniel Day-Lewis really is.
Well, I remember everything going great for about 24 hours when we started shooting the movie. I'm feeling really confident. And then, at the beginning of the second day, Daniel fell down a 50-foot mine shaft and broke 2 of his ribs.
That would be bad.
And I thought, this is not good. But I also thought, I really doubt that Daniel's ever made a movie without breaking something. So it's got to be a good sign.
Apparently it was. There Will Be Blood opened to rave reviews, and once again, there's Best Actor Oscar buzz for Day-Lewis. But all that talk is beside the point. Once the film is done, he has no stomach for the celebrity hype machine.
I love what I do, and I'm very proud to be a part of a body of people that do this work. So it's with no kind of wish to ridicule a profession which I actually think is strangely a potentially noble one. It most often isn't noble, it's pretty ignoble. We're turned into clowns a lot of the time, but that's no bad thing either.
You seem to have escaped that.
No, I feel like a clown.
Right now?
A little bit.
What he wants to do more than anything else is to get back to Ireland.
You don't like being in the city?
I'm unused to it.
To the things that for him make up real life.
And what are those other things?
Well, it could be 6 months of daydreaming. I live in a landscape which every single day of my life is enriching.
In Ireland?
It's food and drink to me. And very happily, I'm allowed to be with my family, who don't get to see a lot of me when I'm working. So I would wish to make up for that when I'm not.
Which is a gift.
It's a gift. It's a great privilege.
Sooner or later, when the time is right, Daniel Day-Lewis will go back to work. Someone will send him a script he can't ignore. With a role, like all the others, he will feel compelled to get just right.
I like things that make you grit your teeth. I like tucking my chin in and sort of leaning into the storm. I like that feeling. I like it a lot.